What's up, DFF Army? I hopped on the Twitter sphere and asked y'all if you wanted any particular film reviews for specific players, and I got a bunch of responses back. Tank Bigsby was one of them. I think he's a super interesting back, and that's because his value is all up in the air, I think, with the Dynasty market. And for me, he's a little bit lower in the rankings. I think that there's kind of a mishmash in the middle, in the second, third tier there, and he falls in there for me. He could be at the top or bottom. They're graded pretty close for me right now, but there are some things that I don't particularly love about Tank Bigsby. But there's also some things to really like about him. So let's hop into the film. Let's dive right in. First, I'll start off by saying that I think Bigsby exhibits above average vision. He has a good ability to make the first defender miss often, and he does show good yak ability as his eyes on the second level. I do think he's an elite athlete, and you see that in his game. He's quick and he's light on his feet, and he shows good change of direction at times, but I do think that he can be unbalanced, and it could be because of his narrow gait. Here's a good hard run where you see some of that good vision. You see him cut up field. Now, I do think some of Bigsby's best runs come when he takes that one cut and just goes up field. Here you see him get out on the edge a little bit, and here's one where, if we slow it down a little bit, this is against Alabama, against some pretty good athletes. I think that he's just a little stiff of a runner, especially in the lower half. His hips are a little tight, and I don't think he gets a ton of wiggle there. I think most of it comes from his upper body, right? Most of that shake comes from his upper body, and you can see that here, like even here when he's making this move, it's really not coming from the lower body, and whenever it is, it's not coming from the hip area. It's coming from more the knee and below, and we'll see that on some other plays as we go forward. Not a bad run here, though. Now, I wouldn't describe Bigsby as laterally quick necessarily, and I think here you can see that. Again, he has some decent footwork and quick feet, but he's just a little rigid down low, it feels like, and we'll see it from the other angle here. Again, just the movement here. Also, I think that he's unbalanced at times because he has a really narrow gait, really narrow stance, and just the way he runs, it's a little upright, and he doesn't necessarily have that lower center of gravity, I would say. Now, I mean, we can't ignore how uncreative this offense was. So, he did a lot of work in a pretty bad situation. Got to give him some credit there. Just a lot of like wildcat and wide zones and read options and just nothing really that's going to help him. Nothing that was going to put him in the best position possible to succeed. Here's another rep where I think you would just like to see some better lateral quickness and balance here on this pass, and he's not the best pass catcher in general, but you just see kind of the movement here. Just falling over, and it's not the best situation, don't get me wrong, there's a ton of defenders around him, but, a Jahmyr Gibbs may keep his balance, be able to cut and get outside, and he's just a little too rigid. He doesn't really have it in him. He's more of a straight line runner. He's more of a downhill runner, a one cut guy, and he's a really good athlete. He really is, but I just don't think his game is necessarily agility in short area. To me, Tank is really just more of a downhill runner. He's not super shifty. And again, he shows that good contact balance and good vision in between the tackles. But he's really never used in the passing game, which limits his upside. Even on this run here, you'd like to see some more finesse to get to the outside. And he makes it there, but you'd just like to see a little bit more finesse in his game. And again, I just think he doesn't have that wiggle to kind of evade defenders in these short areas. He does, again, have a couple good quick moves. You see that here. As I said, I think he's a better one-cut runner, and you see that right here. In that short area, good vision, sees the defender, sees the hole, busted open, good burst upfield. I do think one of his better qualities is his burst, and you see that right here. He hits the hole and boom, shot out of a cannon. So I think that's where his athleticism shows the best. Good, solid, strong run here. Could be a really good goal line back, but I don't think he's a 3-down back. I really don't. And to me, honestly, when I watch him on film, I see a little bit of like bargain brand Najee Harris. Again, he does a really good job of making the first defender miss, but after that, it gets a little shaky. Here's probably one of the best examples of his one-cut ability and some of the best lateral moves that you see on film. Really good, big touchdown run here. Really, really good stuff. Again, if you saw this side-to-side quickness more often on a regular basis, I think I'd like him a little bit more, but his elusive grading just wasn't quite there for me, and I think in the NFL he's going to get caught by a lot more defenders, and that side-to-side shake that you see isn't going to cut it. He's a real strong, powerful runner, man. You see him put his force into some guys right here. There's a place for him in the NFL for sure. I just don't know if he has the every down upside that some hope for and getting that value in, the second round of your rookie drafts. And you see that athleticism. I think it's really up there. It's top tier, near elite, maybe elite. Definitely something missing in his game. Again, here you see the shades of it, but I just don't think you see this consistently with that wiggle, with the shake, and able to evade defenders. I think one of Tank's biggest weaknesses is his inability to run really crisp routes, and you see that here. Just a little sloppy, unbalanced, and just doesn't really get out of breaks well. Here's a nice run to the edge where he uses that physicality and contact balance to get into the end zone. Really good stuff, and you could see this translating to the NFL really well for sure. I really would just like to see him run with a little bit of a wider base because I think he just runs really tall and upright, and it leaves him susceptible to getting taken down a little bit easier than I think he should. I don't really hate Tank Bigsby, but I also don't see anything to really, really fall in love with. Here's a little bit sharper of a route. And he has pretty soft hands, but they don't really use him much. They never really used him much in college as a receiver, so that is a little concerning. Here's a nice play where he shows what I like to call burst with intent. So he has that good vision. You can see him recognize it and really get upfield here. And that's one of his best traits by far. See it from the other angle here. And again, I don't know, something just about his stance in the backfield initially and then the way that he moves his feet, whatever. It's probably a hang-up of mine that I need to just let go. Again, the footwork, good ability to make himself small and get through a tight space. But it's really that burst with intent. Patient, boom, burst upfield, get through the hole. So for me, after reviewing the film and going back and reviewing it again, Tank is going to fall in that second to third middle class of this running back group for me in 2023. I'm not the biggest fan. I think that, I just think he lacks the upside that a lot of the other backs in the class show. I think there are more well-rounded running backs in this class that I'd rather go after, but I also do think that he has a good skill set for the NFL. He's a hard, physical runner. He's definitely a 2-down back. I just don't know if he's a 3-down back, especially without the receiving upside. That totally doesn't show up on tape or in the numbers in the spreadsheets. So for me, Tank is going to be ranked a little bit lower, I think, in this draft class, definitely somewhere in the middle to later second round area. Maybe I need to push him up a little bit. Draft capital will definitely tell me what to do there. So definitely need to wait for the draft capital, and that will have a big impact on my rankings. Thanks for tuning in for this edition of the DFF Film Room. If you enjoyed, please subscribe to the Dynasty Football Factory YouTube channel and follow me on Twitter at WillieBeamanDFF. Peace out, fam.